Okay, guys, Panzer J back with turn 14.6, Italy. And some very interesting developments the last couple of turns here for my opponents. First, I want to thank Global War 36 enthusiast. He sent $7 to the Italians, so that was much appreciated. And then Fighting Irish, I got to continue to give props. He's definitely giving me a run for my money. A lot of stuff to think about. I think I might have missed my opportunity to take Cairo. He has got that extremely heavily defended. That marker right there represents all of this right here. So that is a lot of Commonwealth units in Cairo right now. So definitely have to kind of readjust some of my thinking and some of my plans here as Italy. So first, let's go ahead and do our tech rolls. So our first tech roll is going to be for long-range aircraft. We're going to go for long-range aircraft. So that is a 7 or higher, and we're currently at stage 1 for that. So let's go ahead, long-range aircraft. And we rolled a 4, so we didn't get that. And then we're going to go for radar, which currently we're not even at stage 1. So let's see how that goes, 7 or higher. And we get a 1. So Italy gets neither of our tech rolls, which is hardly surprising. Now on to purchases. Italy had $26 to spend. I had them ending at 22 last turn, but Fighting Irish did have that French submarine, so I didn't get that $2 bonus. That left me 20. And then Global War 36 enthusiast sent me 7, so that was up to 27. And then I lost $1 this turn to the French convoy, so I'm at $26. So for $26, I'm going to purchase a destroyer for 6, a fighter for 10, that's 16, a militia for 2, that's 18. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish off my 2 fleet carriers for a total of $8. And that's the $26. Now, one thing I do want to mention about these carriers before I go any further, because I'm not completely sure about aircraft placement. So in one of the additional optional rules section, it talks about not being able to place carriers unless you're purchasing a plane that turn to put on it, or if you have planes in an adjacent land territory where you're placing the carriers, then the carriers can be placed on the board. So I do have 3 Italian fighters in northern Italy, which is a land zone adjacent to where the 2 carriers are being placed. So my plan is to place those 3 carriers immediately onto my 2 fleet carriers along with the 1 fighter I'm purchasing this turn. So if I'm not able to place the 3 fighters immediately on these 2 fleet carriers, then that's going to change my buy. I'm not going to finish off those 2 fleet carriers. The only way I'm finishing off the fleet carriers this turn is if I'm allowed to place those 3 fighters from northern Italy on them. So I'm not sure what my opponents think right now as far as if that's allowed or not, but we can get together, discuss it, see what the community has to say. Again, if the fighters can't be placed on the carriers this turn, then I'm not finishing off the carriers, and that will obviously, I'll have to adjust things. But for now, I'm just going to go with being able to do it, and then if not, figure things out later. So that is the purchases. As far as combat, we have 1 combat move. So we're going to take, there's 2 transports up here in this C zone. So one of them is going to break off and come down 1, 2 to C zone 81 with my 2 Marines from northern Italy. And they are going to land in Tripolitania. And then also all of these planes in Transjordan can go 1, 2, and that's 2 tacticals and 4 fighters. And they are all landing in attacking in Tripolitania as well. And that is my only combat move. So let's go ahead and put these on the battle board. I know I haven't been using the battle board a lot lately just because there haven't been any like major battles. So I've mostly just been doing them here on the map. But we'll go ahead and put them. So the Marines would normally be 2, but I'm attacking in desert, so I'm assuming they're -1. And then we get our 2 tacticals at 7 and our 4 fighters at 6. Okay. And then Fighting Irish has 1 artillery and 5 infantry. So let's go ahead and put them over here. Infantry at 4 and an artillery at 3. And he does get first strike with the artillery. So let's go ahead here and grab our dice. Okay. So let's move this out of the way a little bit. So he gets first strike with his artillery. So he needs a 3 or a less there. And he rolled a 9. So no hit there. So now I don't suffer double casualties because they're Marines, so I don't have to worry about that. So now let's go ahead and we've got 4 fighters at 6s. And we got 3 hits. We got 2 1s, a 5, and a 9. So I assume he would take the artillery, which is already fired, so that's dead. And then 2 of his infantry. Then we get 2 tacticals at 7. And we rolled a 10 and a 7, so 1 more hit, so that's up to 3 he's lost. And then our 2 Marines are 1s, and a 12 and an 8, so no hits. So then he gets his 5 infantry in return, and these are 5 4s. So he rolled 2 10s, a 9, a 5, and a 3, so he got 1 hit. So I'm going to lose 1 of my Marines. He lost 3 infantry. So he is now down to 2 infantry against my 4 fighters, my 2 tacticals, and my Marine. Okay, so first we'll go ahead and roll for the 4 fighters. And we got a 3, 4, 5, and a 9. So that's 3 hits, and he only had 2 guys left. So he loses both infantry. And we'll go ahead and roll his 2 4s. And he rolled a 1 and a 9, so he did get a hit. So I'm going to lose my Marine. So he holds on to that territory. I don't take that back because I don't have any ground units to capture it, but I did completely take out his French force, so it wasn't horrible for Italy, I suppose. Okay, so we'll put those back in Tripolitania, and that was our only combat. So now on to non-combat. So we are going to move 2 infantry, 2 colonial infantry, and a motorized is going to retreat 1 to Cyrenaica. Then this entire force here in Transjordan is going to retreat 1 to Syria. So they're all retreating back to Syria up there. Then these 2 coastal subs, I own this major naval facility here, so they can move an extra movements. That's 2 total. So they're going to go 1, 2, and they're going to be in part of that fleet up in Sea Zone 50. And I believe, and then the planes need to fly back. So all these planes, 4 fighters, and 2 tacticals are all going to fly to Cyrenaica. Okay, so they're all down there. And then the last thing before we do our unit placement and collect income. So for that battleship that was damaged last turn. So to repair major or capital ships, I should say, you can pay IPP, or if they're adjacent to a major naval facility, 1 hit gets repaired free, and the only thing it does, it takes up 1 of the production slots for that naval facility. So I have 2 major shipyards in Sea Zone 50, so they can produce a total of 10 naval units. So I'm going to go ahead and repair the battleship free of charge, 1 hit of it, and it only has 1 hit of damage, for one of those 10 production slots. So I'm going to take the damage marker off the battleship, so that's fully operational again. And that, again, just simply used up one of my 10 production slots. So that's it for non-combat. Now on to unit placement. So we're going to place our militia we bought in Cyrenaica. We are going to place our destroyer in C-Zone 50. So that would have been another other production slots, but that still leaves me 8 more than what I need. And then my 2 fleet carriers I'm also placing in C-Zone 50 in that fleet. And then again, going back to my first point in the video about the fighters, the one new fighter I'm producing goes onto the fleet carrier. And then I'm going to take all 3 of these fighters in northern Italy and place them on those 2 carriers. And again, if that's not allowed, then I'm going to go ahead and that will definitely affect my purchases. So that is it for Italy. So now in C-Zone 50, we've got 2 Russian subs. And then on that fleet card, we have an Italian battleship, a heavy cruiser, 2 fleet carriers with 4 fighters, a destroyer, 2 coastal subs, and a transport, and then 2 German regular subs and a German destroyer are in C-Zone 50. And I still also have those 3 German fighters in northern Italy that can scramble. And even though I asked Fighting Irish to check with me prior, if he does attack into 50, more likely than not, those 3 German fighters will scramble as a defense to that fleet there in C-Zone 50. So that's it for the Italians. Now, collect income, we're down to just $12 worth of territories, and we have no bonuses because there are clearly Allied ships in the Mediterranean. So we get $12 plus whatever we roll here for our wartime economy. We didn't save any money last turn either. So 12 plus, there's a 4 and a 4, 8. So 8 total. So that is a total of $20 Italy will have here coming up on turn number 15. So that should finish off the Italians here. Just to review a little bit, in Cyrenaica, we've got 4 fighters, 2 tacticals, 2 colonial infantry, 2 regular infantry, a militia, and a motorized. And then in Syria, there's 2 mountain infantry and 7 regular infantry there in Syria. Okay, that's it for Italy. Now turning things over to Fighting Irish for the U.S. KMT turn.